This video is how to use 1inch Exchange, which is a DEX aggregator. That means that it gets the best price for you for trading across DeFi. So we'll go through how to use the platform and how to swap on here as well. Timestamps for everything down in the description below. Firstly, we want to get on to using the DEX though. So come up to 1inch.io. I'll leave links to everything in the description, and then go to launch DApp right here. It will take you through to this page. Now from here, you need to link up a wallet. So in the top right hand corner, you can just click this right here. You can see mine is connected already, and it will show you your wallet. I'm using MetaMask right here. I'll leave a link to a video on how to set up MetaMask if you don't have one already, but just go to metamask.io and then download the wallet and set it up. Again, that video goes through everything with MetaMask and how to set it up there. But if you do have a MetaMask, it should look a little something like this. And we can go ahead and link this to the 1inch Exchange. That video in the description goes through everything step by step if you want to know how to set up a wallet. But now we have a wallet connected. The other thing to do is, if you want to use one of the other networks that is supported on 1inch, you can actually really easily add them to your MetaMask via this screen in the app. So if you come up to this link right here, I'm on the Ethereum network right now, but if you click it, you can see all of these networks that are supported. A lot of people trade on these networks, and you can see that all you have to do is just click it and it will switch over right in your MetaMask. So I've got all of these networks added to my MetaMask already, so I'm just going to switch over, and then it switches over to BNB chain. Now, if you don't have these networks added, that's no problem. When you click one of these, it should actually add the network automatically to your MetaMask, right? So you don't have to do anything, and it will just say, do you want to add the network? You say yes, and then it adds all of the details to your MetaMask account. Now, if it doesn't do that, what you can do is just go to Google and search how to add BNB chain to my MetaMask, how to add Polygon to my MetaMask. And what it's going to do is give you a set of details much like this. This is for the Polygon network. And it'll just give you all of these details here. Enter the network settings. What you have to do is go back to your MetaMask, go up to the options right here, settings like this, and then go to networks, and you can just add the network in right here. Like I said, 1inch should actually do this automatically if it's not added to your MetaMask already, just by clicking one of these networks that you want to add. Because 1inch supports so many networks, you can also bridge tokens from one network to another. So I'll quickly go through that before the swap feature. You can see bridges up here. Now, this is good for some and not good for others. So if you actually click on one of these links, it's going to take you to whichever the main bridge is for each network. So let's say you want to bridge some tokens from one network to another, you can do that. So this is C-Bridge or Seller Bridge. And so what you can do is say, I want to take some USDC from BNB chain and I want to switch it over to Optimism. You can actually connect your same wallet right up here and do that, and you'll use their bridge. Now, I don't really like using bridges. I seen many hacks before, and they're not the safest in my opinion. And so I don't really like doing this, but for other bridges, it's actually okay. So if we go back to the bridge, and then we looked at the Optimism bridge right here. This just takes you through to the Optimism bridge, which is a layer 2 network on top of Ethereum. So this for me is much safer because it's a direct bridge on top of Ethereum. It's a scaling network rather than, for example, going from BNB chain to Avalanche or from Avalanche to Ethereum. They're completely different networks. And so there's always some security issues in my opinion anyway, but you can use these bridges. So if you have some ETH in your Ethereum mainnet and you actually just want to bridge it over to Optimism to make everything cheaper, then you can use this bridge here. The other option is just to withdraw some coins from your exchange, which I can show you right here. I use Binance because they actually support most of the cheaper networks as well. So if you want to trade something in a decentralized way, you can see I've got some USDT here. And what I can do is choose the network, and it shows me some of these networks that I can use. So I can withdraw it over Polygon Matic and actually make the trade on 1inch on one of these cheaper chains. So that's how I would do it. I'll leave a link to Binance in the description. They give a deposit bonus if you're not a customer yet. So check that link for up to $600. It's a deposit and trading bonus. Details via that link in the description. But once you have the coins on the chain that you want, you can then go and choose the chain exactly and then go and actually swap on 1inch. So you can do that in any network that you want, and it's going to give you all of the options right here. Now I'll show you how to swap some tokens on 1inch, and there's a few different settings that you might want to go for. So we can come up to trade and then choose one of the modes. You're going to be swapping on the same protocol. It's just a layout difference. So simple mode I'll show you first. You have swap and limit. So we'll go on swap first, and what we want to do is look at some settings. So you can come to this icon right here and then choose the settings. Now, in terms of the gas price, I would just leave this at market unless you're like looking to get something done really quickly. But you can see that the market order or the market price for gas, the base is going to be exactly the same. The aggressive just means that you might end up paying a little bit more to get your trade done a little bit quicker. I wouldn't do this. There's really no point. But you can actually go to custom and set this out exactly as you want. I would just leave this on market because it's going to do the best it can. Now, in terms of slippage tolerance, slippage is the difference in price that you're happy getting for the trade from when you press trade to when it actually goes through on the blockchain. There may be a 5 or 10 second difference between that, and the price may actually change in between that time. And so there might be a difference, and you can just put this on auto, which I recommend, which is 0.5%. So the quote that you get may be actually better or worse than that by 0.5%, but you can change this any way that you want as well. And obviously gas may change in between as well. Your trade may affect the price of the tokens in the pool a little bit. So all of that, for the most part, just leave it on auto and it's going to do it for you. In terms of partial fills, this is if you want to trade $10,000 worth and for some reason it can't go through and it only gives you a fill of like 3,000. If you're happy with that, just leave it on. In terms of routing preset, I would leave this off as well. You can actually tell the protocol where to route all of your orders. I wouldn't do this because the whole point of 1inch is to do it all automatically and give you the best price. And in terms of liquidity sources, I would just leave this all as is as well. It knows what it's doing, so we can just get out of here. Now, why exactly use 1inch rather than Uniswap directly or something like that? Well, the reason is because it actually gets you a cheaper price overall, and you can see this in a second. So what you can see 1inch does is it actually saves you on gas costs. You can see other ones are actually much more expensive than 1inch. So 1inch is actually an exchange aggregator, which gives you the best price and overall for your trade. And you can actually see that right here. So what we're going to do is go to the advanced feature. So we can go to trade in classic mode and you can see all of that here. You can actually go to settings as well and then toggle off some of these things. So if you don't want to see the chart, you can just toggle that off or whatever. You can toggle these on and off, right? So you can see the chart right here. It's actually really useful. I'm just going to turn that off for a second and we can see what's happening. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to switch networks over to Optimism and we can see exactly how 1inch works to actually save fees. So I'm going to go to classic mode again, and I'm just going to see all of this routing right here. So instead of just trading on Uniswap directly, what 1inch does is it routes your order through the cheapest way and the best way for your trade. So I'm going to swap ETH into DAI right here. So 1 ETH into DAI, as you can see, and it shows me where the best way that I can trade is. What you can see down here, and I've turned this on in settings, which is the show table, is it's telling me that it's giving me the best trade, right? So as you can see down here, if I traded on Uniswap, I would get more or less the same trade on this instance. But if I trade on Kyber or Velodrome directly, I get a worse trade. And so that's why people use 1inch, is because it aggregates all of your orders and puts them through the best route. You can see that this route is always changing because it's constantly searching the blockchain and finding the absolute best way to trade for you. So what you can see here is that we're trading from ETH and we're going through USDC into Velodrome, which is a DEX, and Uniswap, of course. And you can see the amount of each of my trade going through this coin on those DEXs. They then swap them both into Uniswap DAI and then send that DAI to my wallet. You can see that's what I'm trading right here. So it's giving you the absolute best route for your trade. And also it saves on gas as well. Now you still pay trading fees on these DEXs, but 1inch don't charge you any more for what they're doing. I believe how they make money is that they essentially take a small percentage out of the money that they save you. I believe that's what they're doing. I've looked in the docs. It's not extremely clear, but I think that's what they're doing. So from here on out, it's just exactly the same as any other DEX. You can see the prices right here and check all of that. And if you have a balance, I don't have any in my Optimism account, just press trade right here. Now you may have to add the tokens firstly, so that will be clicking on this, your MetaMask will come up, you'll just have to accept that transaction, and then if that's the first time that you've accepted these tokens, you'll have to then press this again to actually go ahead and trade. So you press it again, your MetaMask will come up, see the transaction right there, see how much gas you're paying, and then press trade, and it will do that trade for you in the best route and the lowest cost trade that it can find across all of the other DEXs. Now on 1inch as well, you can actually use limit orders, which is amazing. That means you can choose the price that you trade at. So what we can do here is actually go to limit like this, and it will take through. Now, as you can see, I've got no active orders right here. Important to understand that if you want to trade limit orders, you'll have to use the correct tokens. So what we can do is we can see the sell option right here, and it's wrapped Ethereum. So if we go to these tokens, you can definitely add a token as well by coming up to the top right, clicking this, and then searching by address. Go over to CoinGecko, see the token that you want to trade. In CoinGecko, you will see the contract address. I'll show you that right now, as you can see. So we're going to come down to something like Polygon right here. Let's say that for some reason Polygon wasn't added. We can go over to the info and click the token address right here. So you can click copy. Now we've got the token address for Polygon itself. We can go back to the DEX, add that token here if it's not added already, right? So token not found on Optimism, it's on the wrong network, right? But that's how you would do it. Now, important, if you want to put a limit order in, you need the wrapped version of the token that you want to trade. If we click this, you can see that I can't use ETH as something that I can put a limit order in for. The reason is ETH is a gas token and you can't use it to interact with smart contracts, I believe. So what you have to do is use wrapped ETH. It's the same on OpenSea. If you want to bid for something, you need to use wrapped ETH, which is an ERC20 token, which can interact with smart contracts. Making a limit order is a smart contract where you're actually putting in, and if something happens, then something else happens. So you have to use a wrapped version. What you would have to do is go to swap and then actually take your ETH or other token, BNB token or whatever, and swap it into wrapped version. So wrapped ETH, wrapped BNB, something like that. Once you have the wrapped version in your wallet, by the way, that's a 1-for-1 token, so it's going to be exactly the same price. You can then go over to limit order, and as long as it's an ERC20 token, you can put in a limit. So use the wrapped version, and then to buy, what do you want to buy? We'll put USDT in here. Now what I can do is actually set my limit order. So I can say, what is the price I want to pay or get for USDT? And you can change that in right here. So maybe you want to sell it for a little bit higher or something like that. So we're looking for more US dollar tether for our ETH than the market's giving us. This is a limit order. So we're putting in a sell order with a limit price that we want to get. And then we can choose the amount of days that we want it in for, anything that we want. We can choose a custom amount as well. Now that limit order, as you can see, you'll have to give permission once, and then you'll have to go through another transaction with your wallet to actually put that order in. Now that can be in for as long as the market is there, for as long as you choose. And if you want to cancel it, the order will be here and you just cancel. The advantage of a limit order is that you can choose the price that you trade at. The downside is that if the market doesn't get there, then you won't trade. So a limit order is great for some use cases. If not, then just go to swap and get your trade done straight away. There's also an earn feature on 1inch as well, which uses liquidity pools, which is how market making systems work. All the DEXs work like this. So you can go to earn and then go to pools, and you can see all of these pools here. So if you want to earn some passive income and you want to invest and have your tokens in a pool to earn some trading fees, you can do that right here. I personally would use other platforms for this. So I would personally use something like Beefy or Yearn Finance, right, which I think are more specifically geared towards doing this. But I'll just show you if you want to, use ETH and staked ETH. And you can see the pool right here. So what you would do is invest both of these tokens into the pool and you would get some trading fees. So you can see the APY right here is 4.79%. So if you're an investor and you want to get some trading fees, what you would do is just see the options in the pool right here, and you can see exactly what's going on. So the liquidity is $200,000. That's not very big. Like I said, I would use Beefy or Yearn Finance. I'll leave links to them in the description on how to use them and how liquidity pools work and everything to earn passive income. You can see the volume in this pool isn't amazing, so that's why I would use those protocols instead. But what you can do is invest your tokens and then earn some passive income from trading fees. In this pool, it's 4.79%. You can just provide liquidity right here. So what you would do, you'd have to have both of these tokens in your wallet. And then provide liquidity. You can see that right here. You would need a value right here. You would give permission to use both of these tokens. So you'd have to go through 2 transactions right here and then have both of those tokens in your wallet, add them into the pool, and then you would get some trading fees on the top of it. Now, there's a lot more to talk about with providing liquidity. I'll leave those videos in the description because it's quite complex and you definitely need to know some of the pros and cons before doing this. It is an option on 1inch, but like I said, I would probably use other protocols that are specifically geared towards that rather than 1inch. Check those videos in the description if you do want more info on that, and the Binance deposit bonus link as well down there. I'm James with MoneyZG. Cheers for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.